All right, hey, organic chemistry. So I wanted to just show a quick video of how you're going to be doing your mini project on creating your own questions. I'm going to zoom in on questions 2 and 3. You are eventually going to be going to this website. Hopefully it's going to be finishing loading, called Spectral Database for Organic Compounds, and you're going to be finding IR spectra and coming up with your own formulas for compounds. So if I'm on this website, when you first go to it, let's say you didn't have the website. I'm going to close this out. It's SDBS if you Google it. And I'll just click on the second one. First one looks like it's been having some issues, but they're both the same website. And so when you get to the main page and it's all green, you're going to scroll down and click on the I agree button. Oh, or it could bring you to this page. And what you could do is, if you don't go to this page automatically, you'll be on the agreement page, and then you agree to it, and you scroll down to the bottom, and then you get here. Now, let's say you come up with your own formulas, right? So, or you could just look at some of our other formulas that we've had in our practices. I'm going to make up a formula. Let's say I do C8H8O. I'm just going to make up that formula, all right? So I search, and you should get a bunch of results that have that molecular formula. And you could click through, and there's all the different names. You could find their structures. You could Google them. What's most important is we're in the unit where we're learning about IR. We will eventually learn about these other 4 things, MS, carbon NMR, and proton NMR. But right now, we're doing IR. I'm just going to choose the first one, which said is acetophenone as an example. So I click on that, and I'm going to be brought to the IR spectra for this molecular formula. So let's say I was doing question number 2, and I wanted students to propose a structure that's consistent with this IR. Well, while this is loading for a second, I'm going to type that in, that the molecular formula is C8H8O, okay? And it has to be consistent with this structure, or this IR. Now, if you don't know how to do screenshots, it's Control-Shift, and then there's a square button with 2 vertical lines. If you do that, it's going to make you have a gray screen where you could scroll over and select what you'd like to screencast or screen share or copy from the screen. And then you'll see a thing that says copy to clipboard. Click on that. And then I'm just going to paste it right here in this box. So I did Control-V, and if you give it a moment, it should paste if it's loading. If not, you could right-click and click on Paste, and boom, it's there. If it's too big, or if it looks like it's taking up too much space, you could make that smaller, but I'm going to leave it like this. And so my question for question number 2 would be, propose a structure that's consistent with this IR and this molecular formula. And then you could just leave it at there. And we already know the answer. It looks like this. So this will be your answer key. Now, you could draw that, or you could do the screenshot again. To do a screenshot with your Chromebooks, you're going to, again, Control, Shift, and then the square button with the 2 vertical lines, and boom, right there. And when you do your answer key, this is not your answer key, but when you do your answer key, you could just make a copy of this page and make it answer key, and then you could just post the answer right there for me to have, okay? And I'll just format that to make it look smaller, and that's what you could do. All right, and so it could fit right in the range of the first page. And then for the next question that you're going to do, I want you to have it choose a structure based off of infrared spectrum. So let's go back to our results. And if it doesn't go back to your results, you could type in the formula again. We have all these different structures. That will have the same molecular formula. So you could do this again, where you can say, okay, I have this molecular formula, or you could do a new one, doesn't matter, C8H8O. And let's say you actually want it to be p-tolualdehyde. So I'm going to click on this IR spectra. And you're going to get a completely new IR spectra. Let's copy this like we've done before. Control, Shift, and then the square with the 2 vertical lines. Copy to clipboard. Paste it here. And then you could say, underneath this, which of the following structures is consistent with the IR spectra above? Or you could say consistent with the molecular formula and IR spectra above. And so this is your answer. So let's make sure we don't forget that. And I'm going to put the buttons in for how you do screenshotting in the document, but it's going to be Control, Shift, and then the square button. Copy. And I know that this is one of our choices. Let's go back to our results and choose any three of the other results that we know it's not the answer. Now, we don't want it to be the aldehyde one. Let's choose, doesn't matter. Look, we have epoxybenzene, okay? Whatever this means. And let's choose this structure. Spectrum is really different. It's very different than the one that we just had. And if it finishes loading, we could screenshot this structure. It froze a little bit, and that's okay. But what you would do is you would continue to go back and forth and look at the other structures and just screenshot this answer for this structure that has the same molecular formula and put them there. And then you would have 3 or 4 choices that you could use, and then you would leave that as your question, and of course you would know the answer. So again, this kind of froze, and I'll go back a bit. Yeah, it's having a little bit of issues. But what you would do is the same thing as I said before. You would look for maybe other IR spectra and other structures that have the same molecular formula, and you would screenshot them and put them there. So you could have like 3 or 4 of them. So let's say it was this one. Let's say this was a choice, right? Because it wasn't it. All right. This has a completely different structure. So this could be like another choice. It has the same molecular formula, but it's very different than this one. This is an aldehyde on the left. This one's a ketone. So this is what you're going to do for your mini project, okay? The first question I'll talk about in class, you're just going to come up with any molecular formula so they can propose a structure. And then for question 2, come up with any molecular formula, find an IR that you think sounds cool, post it there. And then for the third question, you're going to find a structure, an IR, and come up with a couple of choices for people to choose between. If you have any other confusions or concerns, just let me know in class.